There are a few comments in the chat as well. We are hearing these teachings are comfortable and deepening. These teachings are very natural to me, fits right in with my belief system. It reconfirms my beliefs. I have comfort with the principle of supreme intelligence. I find Ishvara refreshing. It lays down the burden of religion for me. Ishvara makes more sense than any religion I've been introduced to. It's what my inner little girl had been searching for since childhood. I've been contemplating on the definition of Ishvara as a principle. It resonates deeply as it's all-encompassing. It's unity, the unity of all beings, animate and inanimate. It's oneness. And Ishvara feels close and constant. This makes for an ongoing, lively dialogue and an overall softening of the edginess of life.
Beautiful. Very good. Now, whether you choose religion or not, that is your personal choice. But what are the Upanishads? The Upanishads and the Vedas, they represent pre-religious outpourings and expressions of seers, rishis and rishikas, yogis and yoginis. And they were in a heightened state of mystical union with Brahman, with Ishvara, and they gave us this map. These are original teachings. All the other teachers who came afterwards we are all non-original. We are all, and I'm not diminishing myself or my gurus, but I take pride in saying that we are the disseminators of that original occurrence that transpired. So our highest teachers are the Upanishads, the highest. And the vision contained in them is amazing. And the best part is that when these truths were being uttered and they were spoken, uttered and communicated verbally for a long time, held carefully, they don't have authorship as such. The sages said that they saw these truths, so they saw it in their mind. And only the purest mind, which becomes like a mirror to the original light, can experience it and then transmit it. So then what do teachers like myself do? Teachers like myself try to uphold those words and try and convey to them in their purity based on the era in which we are operating or where we find ourselves. If I was in the 16th century, I would speak differently, 19th century differently, 20th differently, 21st differently, but the essence remains the same. So we try to protect the words not because they are dogma, but because they are so special. And the concepts are so special. More than words, the concepts have to be maintained, the purity. The words then have to be interpreted carefully because they can have several meanings. But then that conceptual clarity has to be there so that at a mental emotional level, we start having a clarity. So we don't reduce Ishvara to a boxed concept. We continue to become more and more unboxed by recognizing that the ultimate agency, the divine agency, is unboxed. We come into unitive consciousness because the ultimate consciousness is unitary, not divisive. So that's an invitation for us. Wonderful. So I will begin a teaching today, and it might take 1 or 2 sessions, but I'll begin. So today we are going to look at the relationship between Ishvara and the world. And we will understand understand Ishvara through three relationships with this world that we dwell in. And the world can include Earth, Earth and Moon, Earth, Moon and Mars, doesn't matter. The world, what we see, what we, note, what we observe. Now, most religions have a creation story. From the early religions of the original people to more complex religions like Judaism and Hinduism, we have all our understanding of creation. And in fact, the religion of modern science also has its creation story of the Big Bang, where matter has birthed life. So there is, it's not about whose creation story is more accurate. Hinduism also has many creation stories. If you read the Puranas, Brahma Purana, it's around Brahma, Vishnu Purana. Purana is more later text, kind of coming down from the Vedas. Later as in a few thousand-year-old, not several thousand-year-old. And so you can have creation story based around Vishnu, creation story based around Shiva, creation story based around Brahma, creation story around Shakti, around Parvati, around Kushmanda. So because there are so many forms of Ishvara in Hinduism, trust us not to have one story. We have as many stories as gods for creation. Okay. Christianity has its own creation story. I'm pretty sure that every religion has its creation story. And science has its creation story. So the point that we draw from here is that if this world is such an intelligent creation, then one thing is for sure, that there has to be a super intelligent creator for creation. So one relationship we agree, which the Vedas eloquently state, is that yes, definitely one relationship Ishvara has with the world is of being a creator. Okay? And we don't give, the Vedas don't give a story as such, but they say for sure, you can tag on a story because that's what, cultures do over time. Religions are formed from diverse culture, not diverse, but similar perspectives in a given culture, and then a story is formed. It's okay. And so we have Ishvara's relationship as a creator. So if you remember the three words, Brahman divides into Ishvara, Jagat, the world, and Jiva, the creature, living creature. Do you remember that? Yeah. JJI, right? Ishvara and Jagat. And so the Sanskrit word, for those of you who are interested, if Aparna, Vishani, one of you can write it, is Jagat Karta. Karta means creator. You've heard the word karma. So Kri is the root of activity. Kri. So Karta, Jagat Karta, creator of the universe. So there is more than the creation story. The Vedas clarify, or the Bhakti Yoga path says, definitely you can consider the divine, or you can consider Ishvara or symbols of Ishvara as the intelligent cause behind the creation. After all, it's a very well designed product. super intelligence. We're still trying to decode the intelligence of this world. Astoundingly complex order and intelligence, from the vast galaxies to the tiniest particle. There is tremendous meticulous design, engineering, intelligence, physics, biology, chemistry, all has entered into it, right? So there is definitely, when we look at Ishvara as the creator, we can think of Ishvara as the efficient cause of this, right? And we see Ishvara in the Upanishads as a formless principle. And yes, we can also see Ishvara as Saraswati. Then she became the impulse for it, and Lakshmi and Durga. Or we can say, no, we don't want to see Ishvara as Saraswati, Lakshmi, Durga. It's fine. We can say that. But we cannot deny the existence of a supremely intelligent creative force that serves as the architect of this brilliantly designed, organized universe. So there is a super intelligent master mind, the cosmic mind. We cannot dispute it. Maybe some scientists can dispute it, some atheists can dispute it, but most people will not dispute it. And that's why every religion has its own creation story. It's actually the presence of the creation story shows the supremacy of the religious mind over the scientific mind. It actually shows that. And so, not going into the story, we are continuing with our yogic journey, that we see the supreme divinity as the creator. Now, the question arises because, Upanishads were deep teachings, and the teachings were not simply like the first thoughts that came. There's a lot to excavate in the thinking of the Upanishads, and later they were taken up by great teachers. And so we go deeper and deeper, and we go, well, okay, if we take the premise that Ishvara is the intelligent creator, then what is the substance with which, what is the raw material with which the world has been created? And so Ayurveda and yoga and Vedanta, we came up with, like the 5 elements, the building blocks: space, air, fire, water, earth. But okay, then where did space come? Where did earth come from water? Where did water come from fire? Where did fire come from air? From air came from space. And where did space come from? So there was always this persistent reasoning, this question of where? Where? What is that original substance? So then it led to this answer that if Ishvara is consciousness, and this consciousness is supremely intelligent, then this consciousness itself became the raw material from which the world was crafted, because consciousness plus boundlessness is space. Consciousness plus movement is air. Consciousness plus heat is fire. Consciousness plus cohesiveness is water. Consciousness plus density is earth. But the raw material is consciousness. And so can the raw material emerge from that intelligence? So then the Upanishads give this beautiful description of, just like a spider, it it brings out things from its own mouth and creates a web, creates a whole universe with ingredients from its own mouth. And then, whenever the spider wants, it eats it up again. So Ishvara has been compared to that cosmic spider. So this intelligence, this consciousness does not need to borrow I'm just the super mind because I'm wearing the crown of God. No. And then what raw material did it get? And how did it create it? Well, the material cause of the universe, which has created this multifaceted world teeming with living and non-living entities. Apparently, it's not distinct from the supreme divinity, rather is an extension of that. And if we progress along this understanding, then what is sacred and what is sinful? Then what is good and what is bad? If this supreme divinity transcends a single form but is existing in all forms of the cosmos, that because it's an all-encompassing principle, then the Vedas eloquently are stating that Ishvara both created the world and then transformed into the world. And when we come into this understanding, it really underscores the interconnectedness of this whole cosmos. It becomes a deeply profound narrative of both creation and then manifestation within it. So now we don't have to feel obliged to see the divine only in the sacred, but we can find the residence or the presence of divine in the mundane, in the ordinary, not just in the extraordinary. And so from this perspective, while Ishvara, we figured, is the creator, we're now looking at this substance. It's the intelligent cause interwoven into our universe. So Ishvara permeates the universe. This is really fascinating. But the third perspective kind of blows your cap off.